let's begin with the chief guest. Unfortunately, our chief guest, Ms. Kanika Pal, couldn't join us today, but she has sent us a short video message and also nominated Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee to address us. Before watching the video, let me introduce both of them. Ms. Kanika Pal is an award-winning CSR and sustainability professional with over 16 years of experience, presently heading community investments and sustainability programs for Unilever South Asia. Awarded Asia's Top Sustainability Superwoman 2020. She is also the recipient of Most Influential Sustainability Leader and Women Innovator citations in 2018, among others. Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee is a specialist in sustainable economic empowerment. He's a development sector professional with more than 22 years of experience and currently leading economic empowerment and education programs in a leading FMCG company. A postgraduate in rural management, he has extensive experience of working with the bottom of the pyramid population in livelihood and entrepreneurship development activities, rural development through sustainable agriculture, farmer institutionalization, and market linkages. He has successfully led community-based programs in 16 states of India, leading to establishment of more than 2,400 agri-based MSMEs, 1,500 women self-help groups, and more than 75 farmer-producer organizations. Let's watch the video message and listen to Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee. Over to you.
Greetings to everybody who's tuned in from different parts of the world for this global conference on sustainability. I'd like to first and foremost thank the organizers of the conference, especially Santosh, who reached out to me and wanted me to be a part of this event. Unfortunately, while I accepted the invitation, something extremely urgent has come up, and I'm not part of this August gathering. But I have no doubt in my head that my colleague Shaibal Chatterjee would be taking you through sustainability, especially the SDG 17 and the impact the power of partnerships have on the agenda of sustainable development. I feel that at the end of the day, the kind of context that we are living in, the VUCA environment, especially with climate change as well as with COVID-19 still very much in our backyards, there cannot be success against any of the pressing needs of this planet as humanity as a whole, unless we all come together. Very clearly, something that happens in one part of the world has an impact on another part of the world. So we are not living as binaries. We are very much connected. And that connection needs to manifest into something which is beautiful in making this planet an extremely habitable place, in making humanity come together to solve some of the decadal issues or wicked problems, as we call them, which have been going from generation to generation. I think the time has come where private sector, government, civil society, the public as a whole, everybody participates for the common endeavor of making sustainable living commonplace. At the end, I think partnerships do not only mean partnerships at a global level. Partnerships mean partnerships that may be regional, partnerships that may be national, partnerships that may be local, or partnerships that may be hyper-local. We also have partnerships within our own households. If we want to translate savings in terms of water, energy, financial savings, nothing can happen if we as individuals continue to live alone. Our lives would not really find the meaning unless we share the happiness with somebody else or the sorrows with somebody else. And that's exactly the essence of SDG 17. The power of partnerships or the partnership for goals comes when we share our goals with everybody around, and collectively we do not follow a top to bottom approach, but a bottom up approach that helps us to get innovation, that helps us to get finance, that helps us to unlock human potential, that helps us to unlock the kind of solutions that we may have never imagined ever before. I think the time has come where it's not about just talking the talk, but really walking the talk. And that cannot be more urgent than this day, this age. If there's anything that you would like to take back from this session or the session that's going to happen all throughout the day, would be simply, what is it that you would do within your own personal and professional space that can help partnerships to get developed, partnerships to be forged, which really go a long way in solving something somewhere, however big or small it may be. My congratulations to the organizers for getting us all together on this very, very important topic. And my best wishes to all of you for not just this conference, but for partnerships to go beyond and a long way in making this world a better place to live in. Thank you very much and namaskar.
Yes, now let me invite Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee for his address.
A very warm good evening to all the participants from India and Namaste. So, at the onset, I would like to thank Aparna, Santosh, and all the members of GCPIT for organizing such a great event at this summit and inviting me to speak on SDG 17, which is Partnership for Goals. Now, when we talk about SDG 17, what I feel is it is one of the most complex goals among all the 17 SDGs. But at the same time, this is also very important for the fulfillment of all the other goals. Sustainability cannot happen in isolation. So when we are we are aiming for sustainability, not just for the development agenda, but also in any sphere of life, like Kanika pointed out in her statement just a couple of seconds before. We need to have a clearly laid out robust mechanisms for collaboration, cooperation, and building capacities for handholding, incubations, and strengthening for advocacy. This is where partnership comes to play and takes a very important role. When talking about partnership and collaboration, these are the key factors for success of any intervention. And to ensure that the perceived goals are met with respect to the impacts that are being achieved and those impacts become sustainable. Uh, we are seeing a definite shift coming, and I'll talk about, with respect to the CSR and the private company fundings which are happening in the development sector in India with respect to that. I've been working with the disadvantaged sections of the society for more than a decade. And in my personal experience, I can tell you that working in isolation or working in silos have become the thing of the past. Now, when we are talking about the CSR partnerships or the companies funding for the development agenda, there are several successful models of partnerships which we are, and these are the new models which are emerging in the current scenario. So as we have seen that earlier there was a general PPP model which was being implemented, which is the public-private partnership model, which was being implemented, and through that model, we were implementing a lot of schemes where primarily the public represented the government, which provided the initial level of funding to a privately owned entity or a company, which was then implementing and operating that project. And this was the model which was being used for a long period of time. But with the significant changes which we are seeing now in most of the development projects which are currently being funded by CSRs, be it in livelihood or in agriculture domain or in education, nutrition, sanitation, environment sustainability, everywhere the main focus has now shifted, apart from the CSR fund which the companies are providing, in unlocking the potential or the funds which are available with the government. Both the central and the state governments have a lot of programs or schemes which are aimed towards the beneficiaries of their respective segments. But these benefits or these schemes, due to various reasons, are not being able to reach the intended beneficiaries or are not being able to provide the intended outcomes which they are supposed to do. One of the major reasons why this is not happening is due to the last mile disconnect which is there. Now, when we are seeing this shift in CSR funding, one of the new models which I call is as the 4P model has emerged very strongly in the ecosystem. Now, what is this 4P model? So here the first P stands for the private, which is the CSR funding which is being done by the corporates. The second P stands for the philanthropic. Now, philanthropic is being represented by those organizations, the NGOs, the CBOs, the community-based organizations like SHGs or community-based enterprises, which are actually implementing such projects at the ground level with the last mile connect. The third P here is the same which was there in the earlier P, which is the public, which is being represented by the government through its various schemes, through its departments and ministries. So this 4P model, which I call as private, philanthropic, public partnership, has very strongly now emerged in the current scenario, where we are seeing that how partnership is playing a very important role in unlocking the potential or unlocking the funds which were available in the public domain. Here, in the context of 4P, I would like to give you a few examples which are being implemented, which I have seen getting implemented in the corporate CSR funding patterns. So, for example, if we say, take for example, watershed development or economic these programs for saving water and environment sustainability. There, a lot of funding is available with the agencies like NABARD and various departments and local departments, district level departments. So CSR funds, when they are the CSR companies, when they are designing the proposal, inherently they built in the concept of convergence, whereby agencies like NABARD is being looped in the CSR projects, which earlier was not happening. This has started only recently, maybe 3-4 years back. We are seeing this shift happening, where the CSR funds are looking for convergence with the government departments, with the government agencies and the ministries to unlock the fund which they have, to ensure that through their implementation partners, the philanthropic partners which are doing the last mile connect with the beneficiaries, these funds are able to reach from the government to the last mile beneficiaries, so that the impact can be amplified. The impact which earlier, say, suppose a CSR has a kitty of $100, with another $100 put in through this convergence or a partnership with the government agencies, can amplify the impact to a larger extent, and to can amplify the outreach also to more number of beneficiaries. Similarly, we have seen such partnerships happening in segments like elder care, where CSR funding is coming from the corporate. The philanthropic organizations are implementing it on ground, but the government schemes with respect to the elderly, like elderly pensions or widow pensions and various other schemes, uh, uh, insurance schemes, etc., are being provided with support of the government agencies through these projects. Now, another, while talking about this 4P model, this is one model which I have pointed out, which involves government partnerships. Another very important a part of this 4P model is where we are seeing the multilateral agencies coming in. Now, earlier we had seen corporates and the CSR funding happening through in silos, where the corporates used to fund their implementation partners, and they used to implement the projects at some geography with some beneficiaries. But now we are seeing the corporates more and more getting interested in developing uh, relationships and in bringing in partnerships with multilateral agencies, say, for example, UN-based organizations or of various countries. I can give you an example of big FMCG company in India, which has forged a partnership with GIZ for their environment sustainability program to set up eco model villages. Now, here part funding will be given by that FMCG company, part funding will come from GIZ, and both these funds will work together to fund the local level philanthropic organization, which is an NGO, to bring in the desired impact and outcomes. And here also, the portion of or the component of convergence has been kept, whereby government funds and government schemes will be built in. Uh, for example, MG Narega, there is provision of providing labor. So whatever work will be done in the community for developing water structures, water conservation structures, etc., it will be partly funded through MG Narega. So such type of new partnerships we are seeing happening in the development sector. Going ahead, another very interesting partnership which we are seeing now in CSR funding, along with CSR funding, is the partnership through social sector startup companies. So fueled by this Startup India campaign of Government of India, which we are seeing being implemented in India and Make in India coming in a big way, we have seen a lot of startups coming up. Many of these startups are working in the social sector, where they are working in domains like agriculture, dairy, in healthcare, where they have innovative ideas or products which are being funded through their investors or venture funding or angel funding. They are getting these funds to develop their ideas and their products. But CSR funding is helping such social enterprises, such social startups, to take their products and innovations to the ground, where they are trying to develop the last mile connectivity, which I was saying is lacking, due to which we could not see earlier the type of impact which we could have got. So these social sector startups are again, so this is a partnership between CSR funds, which is primarily a private company, a startup which is being funded by the venture capitalists or individual funders, HNI funders. And again, these projects also have inherently built in the concept of convergence, whereby they are trying to bring in the related government schemes to the table, where the impact can be magnified. Again, I can give you a very good examples in which the startups are working in collaboration with the CSR funds. There is a startup called Moo Farm in dairy sector. It is basically a Android-based application, phone application, which is downloaded in the on the phones of dairy farmers, and from where the dairy farmers can get uh, uh, vet services. They can get veterinary consultations free of cost. They also get whole lot of information regarding modern cattle management and dairy management practices, by which they can bring down their cost of production and increase the milk yield of their animal. Side by side, through CSR funding, the same agency, MoFarm, is being provided funds to develop a field team which goes door to door, meets the farmers, and provide them vet services at their doorstep. So there is a mix of technology-based intervention as well as physical intervention, which is going in with the help of partnership coming in. And this agency again works with the local animal husbandry department to bring in their schemes also on board, which are provided to the beneficiaries. So we are seeing that such new models of partnerships are getting developed. And in healthcare also, I can cite there is a healthcare startup called Last Mile Care, which has started giving services after in this post-COVID era, when we have seen that last mile delivery of healthcare has become very difficult. So with this FMCG company, they have started telemedicine centers, and they are providing last mile healthcare, professional healthcare to people who were devoid of such and they were depending on quacks and other such medical practitioners who were not actually medical doctors. So they are then providing, and this startup initially was funded by their investors who were the private investors, but now they are being supported by the CSR fund, and they again will be working with the government primary health centers to conduct village level health checkup camps, where they will be going up physically to the beneficiaries and giving the medical services. So as we have seen that, and I stated through all these examples, that partnerships are evolving, and it is regularly bringing in new partners and new models in the CSR scenario. And we are seeing that partnerships are being done in a way so that the impact can be magnified and the outreach can be enhanced. With this, I will stop here. Thank you very much for this patient hearing. And if there are some questions, I'll be happy to take.
Thank you, Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee, for joining us at such a short notice and giving us such an informative session. We are now taking the questions now. If there are any questions, I'll be sharing it with you offline. And thank you so much for Ms. Kanika Pal also for your inspiring words. And thank you so much for supporting us in between your busy schedule. Looking forward to working with you in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aparna. It was great. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you. And with this, we come to the end of our opening session. We'll be back after a short break.